Welcome to learning all about whether love really is all you need for a thriving relationship. I'm Dr. Dar Hawks, relationship and communication healer, and I blend psychology, human behavior, energy awareness, and compassionate communication to help you understand yourself, your relationship needs, speak your truth with confidence, and rebuild safety and trust together in your relationship. So let's talk a little bit about the quiet disconnect. You're sitting across from your partner. You know you love each other, but something feels off. You're talking, but you're not really connecting. It's like you're speaking different emotional languages. And in that quiet space between the words, you start to feel the loneliness that can exist even inside the most loving of relationships. What if I told you that it's not actually about love at all? Stay with me here. Love is absolutely amazing and beautiful, but it's not the whole picture or the whole story. Because what really shapes the way we give and receive in love is something much deeper. It's a hidden language of primary relationship needs. We've all heard the saying, love is all you need. But in my years of working with compassionate women and couples, I have learned that it's actually a very beautiful myth. Love isn't the whole story. It is the foundation and it is essential, absolutely. But the reason many couples still feel unheard, unseen, or disconnected is because they're trying to speak the wrong language, the language of needs. Think of it this way. Two people can love each other very deeply, but if they're speaking different emotional needs languages, it's like trying to have a heart to heart conversation in two different languages or two different dialects. The desire is there, but understanding gets lost in the translation and then frustration starts to build. Your relationship isn't broken. You are not broken. Your partner is not broken. You're just using the incorrect emotional map based on the language of needs. Now let's dive into the 5 primary relationship needs. The first one is safety and stability. The second one is freedom. The third one is fun and adventure. The fourth one is love and belonging. And the fifth one is empowerment and growth. Now, these are listed in order of how they need to be satisfied so that the one below it can then be satisfied even further. So they're not independent of each other, they're dependent on each other. But for example, safety and stability has to be present first before we feel freedom and acceptance in our relationships, for example. Now, these 5 primary relationship needs actually shape how you love, how you connect, how you communicate, and how you thrive together. Every emotion, every frustration, every word, and every choice you make, and every joyful moment in any relationship actually connects back to one of these 5 relationship needs. When they're met, the relationship and communication and love just flows easily. You're vibing with each other, and it's just satisfying and fulfilling. But when they're not met, it creates disconnection, and that can quietly creep in. So now I want to explore what each of these relationship needs mean and how understanding them can actually transform your relationships and your communication. The first need is safety, and it truly is the anchor for everything in our relationships, including the relationship with ourselves. For some people, love feels safest when it's steady, when there's consistency, reliability, and predictability. This is the need for safety and security. It's about knowing that you can count on each other. It's about knowing without doubt that you have each other's back. Safety builds stability, trust, dependability, and reliability. Without this need being met at any level, a relationship won't feel fulfilling, safe, or satisfying. Love feels secure when you can count on each other and when you can count on yourself. Now, let me give you an example of how the need for safety can show up in a relationship. These examples are based on real client stories and the coaching experience that I had with them. Their names have been changed to protect their identity and their confidentiality. So, for the need of safety, Sarah loved her partner deeply, but he had a habit of constantly being late, changing plans that they had made at the last minute, and forgetting the commitments that he had made and the agreements that he had made. To him, they were really minor, tiny, small things. But for Sarah, whose primary relationship need is safety, each broken promise felt like the ground shifting beneath her feet. She did not feel safe or secure in the relationship. So when this need got unmet for her repeatedly, she didn't know how to communicate it effectively so that her partner would understand her perspective. It created lots of fights and lots of arguments, and she was just really upset by the time she hired me to work with me as her coach. And what happens when this need gets met? Anxiety shows up, insecurity shows up, and questioning yourself also can show up. So, one way to meet the need for safety, if it's something that you have or your partner has, whether your most preferred or dominant need or not, when it is honored through follow through, clear communication, and consistency, it does become the deepest form of love. Because for someone who needs safety, reliability, dependability, security, being able to count on each other is sexy and romantic. Consistency is love for those who crave safety. Later on in this presentation, I'm going to share with you how you can learn what your preferred relationship need and emotional need language is, and how your partner can learn theirs too. The second primary relationship need is the need for freedom. It's an open door or an open window, as you can see in this picture. Now, for others, love thrives on having space, having autonomy, the freedom to make your own choices. This is the need for freedom. It's about autonomy, it's about individuality, and the freedom to grow as your own person within the relationship. Freedom isn't about distance, it's about trust first and foremost, which is built starting with the safety need, but then is further built as you give each other freedom to be who you are, freedom to have personal space, freedom to make your own choices, and do things that interest you independently. Let's meet Maya and Jordan. Maya needed solo morning runs, and Jordan would disappear into his art studio for hours. At first, they both felt really guilty because they felt like needing space meant that there was something wrong in their relationship. Mainstream culture had taught them that you have to spend time together and do everything together. So they felt like something was wrong when they were taking care of themselves and using their time for things that they wanted to do individually. But when they learned to honor and respect their need for freedom and each other's need for freedom, everything changed. Jordan and Maya realized time apart wasn't distance, it was fuel. It was energy that would then allow them to come back to each other recharged, present, and more loving. Meeting each other's need for freedom requires encouraging each other's independence, encouraging each other to pursue your own interests. And when freedom is honored, love is able to breathe. When it's not, people feel trapped and they start to pull away. Trust that love and space and the need for freedom can coexist. One of the biggest things that I find when it comes to freedom in relationships is that one partner or the other is putting too much pressure or has too much of a need to spend 100% of free time with each other. And that can create problems in the relationship when one partner's preferred or more dominant need is freedom. So I encourage you to get comfortable with your independence, get comfortable with being alone and having space by yourself. And I don't mean alone in the relationship, I mean having quality time with just yourself instead of filling it up to where you stay so busy that you're uncomfortable being on your own. Now let's talk about the third need, and that need is for fun and the adventure. For some, love thrives on aliveness. They crave excitement, lightheartedness, laughter, spontaneity, the things that keep the relationship fresh and interesting. And this is the need for fun and adventure. Fun includes novelty, and as I had mentioned, lightheartedness as well. And doing things that are new keeps things alive and interesting in your relationship. Here's an example of the primary relationship need for fun. Mark really adored his wife, but routine slowly crept in, and he noticed his energy, passion, and interest was diminishing. Every week felt the same to him, safe, but very predictable and routine. He wasn't necessarily craving or wanting a different partner. He was really craving a different experience. Adventure doesn't really mean quitting your job and traveling the world and with a backpack. It really can be as simple as trying a new recipe together, spontaneously dancing in the kitchen just because you want to, inject some fun. To meet the need of fun, I invite you to try new things together. Be curious and keep curiosity alive in your relationship. When this need goes unmet, boredom or restlessness can take over. But when it is honored and respected, the relationship feels alive again. It becomes playful and curious and growing. By now, you may be noticing that these five relationship needs are really necessary in all relationships and within ourselves. The difference, though, is we each have them in differing degrees of importance. And I'll share with you how you can learn the degree of importance for yourself and for your partner in a few minutes. The fourth need is the need for love and belonging. It's actually the bridge. Now, I had mentioned that these needs build on each other, and I've put them in order in this presentation in how they build upon each other. Some of us crave emotional connectedness and closeness, that soul level connection where you truly feel seen, heard, known, accepted, and understood. This is the need for love and belonging. It's about emotional intimacy, deep conversation, and feeling completely at home in your partner's presence and within yourself. Here's an example. James had what looked like a perfect partnership. No fights, shared goals, shared interests. He felt safe in his relationship, as did his partner, but he still felt lonely. The reason why is because he just didn't want to share a life. He wanted to share about his inner life and his inner world and his thoughts without being criticized or judged or dismissed. When the need for love and belonging doesn't get met, couples feel like roommates instead of partners. When this need is met through small, present, heartfelt moments where you're connecting and communicating openly and safely, you create that bridge of love and belonging where both hearts connect deeply and you just know you get each other. Let's now the fifth primary relationship need of empowerment. This is the compass. Some people feel most loved when they're growing together, when they're accomplishing something, either individually or together. W- They are driven by getting things done and tasks and having a goal and feeling accomplished in that way. This is the need for empowerment and growth. It truly is about evolving individually and as a couple. It's about ongoing learning, building, and contributing to something greater than yourselves. Here's an example. Alex and Taylor hit a point where life and their relationship felt comfortable and stagnant. They started mentoring others together, and when they did, things started to change in their relationship. They rediscovered meaning and had a shared purpose that reignited their connection. They both really enjoyed hiking and the adventure of hiking, fulfilling the need for fun. But they started getting bored with the same places that they were going to hike. So, what they chose to do was build a small community and start mentoring others on safe hiking and creating adventures where they would have group hikes together. And that restored that sense of accomplishment and shared purpose and brought meaning to their desire to share hiking with others and helped improve their relationship. Now, do you really need to have the same needs in order for a relationship to thrive and just really work well? No, you really don't. Here's the truth. You and your partner don't have to share the same primary relationship need. In fact, most couples don't have the same dominant or preferred need. Your goal isn't to match. It's not to conform to each other. It's to understand. Your partner's preferred need is their emotional need language, and you have yours. And when you each learn to speak it, even a little bit, you feel profoundly loved because your partner's primary need is their language, and your primary need is your language. So, learning each other's languages is really important. Start by noticing what you and your partner complains about most. Those are clues as to which relationship need and emotional language is being triggered as a need. If they're craving stability, that is the need for safety. Do they long for excitement or something new? That's the need of fun. Are they seeking more quality time or closeness? That's the need of love and belonging. Are they looking for acknowledgement or appreciation for something that they accomplished? That's the need for empowerment and recognition. When you know your own need, you can then ask for love in the emotional language of needs that you actually understand. So, how do you discover your emotional language of needs? Well, I'm glad you asked. I've created a free relationship needs quiz. The link is in the description. It only takes a few minutes and it will give you a powerful roadmap to understanding yourself and your partner on a whole nother level. It's a simple method to bring you closer together, to help you communicate to where you understand each other. Because when you know your preferred or dominant primary need, you will start to see love differently, as will your partner. You will stop taking things personally. You will stop making assumptions and interpreting from the perspective of your own preferred need. And you start communicating with compassion and clarity. Let me leave you with this client story. Maya once said to Jordan, "It's not that I don't feel loved, it's that I don't feel understood." And Jordan replied, "Now that I understand your need for safety, I see how my need for freedom can still include you and how it has excluded you previously." This small shift in understanding changed everything for Maya and Jordan. Love really wasn't missing between them, even though they were thinking it was. They realized that it was really understanding that was missing. So, if you've ever felt unseen, unheard, lonely, misunderstood, or are having conflicts in your relationships, here's what I invite you to do next. Take the free relationship needs quiz at needs.drdarhawks.com. The link is also in the description. And learn your preferred language of needs. Click the subscribe button for more compassionate relationship insights because you deserve conversations and interactions that bring you closer, not further apart. I look forward to connecting with you in the needs quiz. And thank you so much for your time and your listening.